I take time out, I read something that enlarges my mind, that feeds me ahas that I'm hungry for, insights that I want. And when I'm hungry for Atzilut, I don't have to go anywhere but inside. There was a great Rebbe in Jerusalem. He was the Slonimer Rebbe. And he published a series of books that are called Netivat Shalom, Paths of Peace. A friend of mine sent me, Rabbi Kiva Mann, sent me a copy of that book. And I started to devour it. And I wanted to get the rest of the books. And I wanted to meet him. Because sometimes when a person writes an idea and wants to make sure this idea goes through, everything else he was just teaching one thing. And the teaching goes like this: how could I be close to God, to be in dveikut, to be logged on, if you will, to be in the network with God? And he says, for that you don't have to work hard, because you're constantly being created. You don't make your heart beat, God makes your heart beat. You don't make the nerves in your brain give you consciousness, God makes that happen. You're constantly in touch with the Creator. You don't need anyone to put you in touch with God. The only thing is you are not aware of it. So you have to work on the awareness. So he begins, Da'at kanita mechasarta. If you have acquired awareness, you don't lack anything. But if not, deya chasarta ma kanita. If you lack awareness, what do you own? You have nothing, okay? So I read his book, and I asked a friend of mine to make an appointment for me so I could go and see him, and this was about 5 years ago. I went to mikveh, I prepared to meet him, and I came in, and his gabbai was standing next to him, a frail old man with beautiful eyes, and he gave me that nu, what is it that you need, what is it that you want? And I said, Rebbe, I came to ask of you an act of kindness, a gmilut chasadim. And he looked, figuring most of the time when you ask a gmilut chesed, it means money, yeah? So he looked at me and I said, all I want from you is that you should say the pasuk, V'yadata hayom ve'ashevota levavecha ki Adonai hu ha'elohim b'shamayim mimal v'la'aretz mitachat ein od. That pasuk, which says you should know today, it's not enough here. Ve'ashevota levavecha, put it to your heart, that Hashem, He is God, in the heavens above, earth below, nothing else exists. I wanted him to say it with his kavanah. He turned to his gabbai and he said, and smiled, Ot, das ist ein Yid, was versteht meine Sforim. This is a Jew who understands what I wrote about, okay? Then took my hand and put it on his heart and talked to me for about 20 minutes. It was such a wonderful thing. If I could give over to you the vibe that I got at that time, I would like to do that. And what would happen would be that then we could close our eyes and would have no trouble to place ourselves in your holy presence, God, knowing we're out of the bubble of our ego, facing you. SHIVITI, Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey, Lenegdi, Tamid. So, working on this awareness in a way that we are participants in it, that this is not something outside of ourselves, becomes the important thing. And if you realize where we are in relationship to the trance of the media, you begin to see we don't dream about having a date with God, you know? We don't dream about gal einai va'abita niflaot mitoratecha, open our eyes so that we could see the amazing things of your Torah. So very seldom are we dreaming this kind of life. And so I would like you to keep in mind when you work with Eve, she will take you to places where you will be able to enhance your dream life, because that's important. If you're going to be working with Reb Alter, with Barry and Debbie, you'll be working about the Rebbe craft. When you give a broche and you are not hooked up, then the broche doesn't work. You know what I mean? And my Baal Broches there, he knows how to be hooked up when he gives a broche, and to learn from that. The Abta Rebbe said so beautifully, you want to learn how to be a davener, you can't learn from books, you have to learn from a davener. And the reason why we have to learn from a davener is that we are in the presence of another person. There is something, if you want to understand what I'm saying, you're not only listening with your ear. There are moments when you lean into, as it were, my feeling space, to attune to the same feeling space. You know what I'm saying? And that is what makes possible for you to return back into your own feeling space like that. And so when I'm present to a davener, and on a sub-vocal level, I daven along with him. When he is making a fervent gesture, you know, even though I don't do this with my outer body, because maybe I'm ashamed to do that there, you know, I don't want to mimic him or something, but my astral body is going like this. Can you do that with your astral body? Now go ahead, try it. Amen. Okay. So you see, it has to do with developing the inner space, with the possibility to log on, and it has to do with getting to that place where our longing is. There are two Hebrew words, and you may have heard me talk about them, for the word why. There's one word that is madua, and madua asks the question, madua. I want to know its cause, okay? There's another word for why, which is lamah. To what end? Lamah. What for? And lamah is asking the teleological question. It is asking the question of the tachlis. What am I looking for? So, madua answers what pushes me. Lamah answers what pulls me. And I want to say that some of you are here because something pushes you, but the majority of you are here, and the majority of those who are here is because something pulls you. I want to talk about what pulls you in a bit. So, I think we're going to sit for about 5 minutes really quiet, and I'd like you to ask the question, what, not nostalgia for the past, but what's the longing that you have for you in this lifetime that takes you to the future, okay? Reb Pinchas of Koretz said, the There's a sentence that says, Nishmat Shaddai Tevinem, the soul of God gives you understanding. So you ask the question, how come we have a soul for 60, 70, 80 years and we're still stupid? This Chabadnik once said, aren't we Chabadnikas? We have Chochmah, we have Bina, we have Da'at. Oh, if we only had a little Seichel besides. You know. So, here the problem is that the soul doesn't like to repeat anything. It likes to be unique each moment. And in order to learn, you need repetition. In order to remember, we need to re-remember so we could remember. Otherwise, it's very hard to pull out a memory. So I'd like you now to have a conversation with someone sitting next to you and say something about what you found out about where your holy longing is. Go ahead. We take now, again, a few minutes to do that. Share with each other.